Hello, folks. So, in this video, let's talk about all these new platforms that are coming up these days, right? For grocery shopping and for shopping in general. So, popularly, there was Amazon, and there is Amazon still, and then there is in India, there is this thing called Flipkart, and around the world, there are more, e-commerce websites and platforms, basically e-commerce platforms like eBay, right? So now in India, you can actually see a new set of emerging, companies, platforms. For example, I mean, we have Swiggy, we have Zomato. These two started off as like food delivery companies. I think Zomato is there even outside India. I don't know where and all, but I know it's outside India also. It's there. Swiggy, I think, is an Indian only company, like where it serves only Indian customers. Um, so Zomato, I think they used to have reviews. I think globally, I think there are more platforms for reviewing. I think I forgot the name, but there are global platforms for writing reviews for places and all. And Google Maps is also a platform. It's a popular platform where you are looking for places and then you're looking at the reviews of places. The thing is, after Swiggy, Zomato started doing delivery of food and all that, there were other companies also, of course. Food Panda, Ola got Food Panda and whatnot. There's Uber Eats in India, and then Uber Eats is also there around the world and all. In the recent times, now there is Zepto, there is Swiggy brought in this thing called Instamart, right? And of course, there are also Tata companies like Big Basket. I don't know if it was a Tata company from the start or it's just a Tata company now, but and there are so many more grocery shopping websites like Big Bazaar and whatnot. The interesting thing is, if you notice, it's about just buying products. It's just about buying stuff. Now Amazon has Amazon Fresh for fresh groceries. Um, so where you can buy something fresh, like for example even almonds, though it will remain fresh for like many months, and it's not like say tomatoes that needs to be refrigerated to for it to be fresh, or frozen to for it to be fresh. But Amazon Fresh considers even, I think, almonds as like a part of the Amazon Fresh grocery shopping list of items, right? Though you can buy it outside of Amazon Fresh as a normal Amazon item or as part of Amazon Fresh also. And what else? I think there are so many more, names now, so many more platforms. Let's talk about um, all these like e-commerce or platforms which are trying to deliver stuff, right? Popularly, if you notice, delivery, we have always thought of delivery only for like letters in the olden days, right? And then of course, if you think about transporting stuff, you don't think of it as delivery, you think of it as transportation. Transporting a person from one place to another place, transporting some item, some statue or whatever, right? So now, uh, if you look at Swiggy and Zomato, um, the problem they were solving, it's like multiple problems. One is food, right? Like you want food, you have a demand for food. There are restaurants already, um, and cloud kitchens is also a popular thing now. So there are places that have food where you can go and eat, or where you can just get a parcel, like a delivery, more like not delivery, more like a parcel takeaway only. You can't dine in. Like cloud kitchens are one example, right? So, and or even a house. I think even a house can actually just get on Swiggy. I'm not sure, but I believe that you can do that. So There was food, the product, the it's a but the difference between food and any other kind of product is that fresh food, right? It's fresh food. It'll what do you say, rot. Okay, so it has to come soon so that it's hot. Like food, cooked food, it's hot or it's cold or whatever it is. Say cold drinks have to be cold, ice creams have to be cold. Some kinds of cooked food it has to be hot for it to be good, right? I mean, I remember eating noodles when I was young, when I was in school. We used to take noodles for lunch. It was so dry and all weird and cold that it didn't feel great. A lot of food items feel great only when they are at the right temperature. It can be hot, it can be cold, depending on the kind of food. Okay. Usually, cold drinks taste better when they're cold. I think I don't drink cold drinks anymore, and same thing for noodles. It tastes better when they are hot. And a lot of cooked foods, um, they the cooked food tastes better when they're hot. So Swiggy and Zomato ensured that there is already some food, there is already some item that just needs to be delivered from one place to another place, from a restaurant to a person. They got the money for delivery. I believe they also get some commission for every item. Apart from getting money for the delivery, they get a commission for every item. Apparently, when you see the food items on the restaurant's menu when you go and dine in, it's different and it's lesser compared to the price on the Swiggy app, on the Swiggy restaurant, like Swiggy menu of the restaurant. So yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think they're probably getting some extra commission. But of course, there are also all these discounts and whatnot. But let's say you don't look at the discounts, but yeah. So the next thing is, uh, their main work was providing a platform where restaurants can put their food items, upload pictures and whatnot, and the users can actually order food items. It's kind of like a e-commerce, because in e-commerce also you have a cart, you add items and then you get it delivered and whatnot. So here it's food though, and globally there are so many other companies I think that do this, Deliveroo or something. There are many, right? The next thing, if you look at it, is so now they have delivery boys who are actually delivering for Swiggy. So Swiggy owns delivery boys, and they have a lot of support. They managed support with calls, I think, initially probably, and then later now they have bots, AI and stuff probably for that. Because at India's scale now they have to do a lot of support. So Zomato also did deliveries similar to this, apart from having information around the restaurants, reviews and whatnot. So it had kind of like a social network around restaurants, food and all. So Swiggy was just an app where you had, they did have reviews, only star ratings, I think, no written review. Zomato has written reviews from what I remember. So similar to Google Maps, where they allow written reviews. And they were doing this transportation main problem, where they transported food from one place to another place, and they helped people discover food, right? Food items, and discover restaurants around them. Of course, the restaurants that are only on that platform, Swiggy, right? So, as a platform, if you see, now Swiggy now gets to say which restaurant shows up on the top. Let's say I'm looking for, nowadays people don't look at the restaurant, the brand and all, not always. Sometimes people just want the item, just the food. For example, I want, I don't eat pizza, but then let's say I want to order pizza for someone. So I want pizza. Will I go for Domino's or Pizza Hut? Maybe I don't care, I just want a pizza. It's for someone else and they just want a pizza, so they asked me to order, and so now I'm like, okay, I want a pizza. So in Swiggy now you can actually do a search on dishes, the names of dishes, and then the names of restaurants. When you say pizza, it will show you so many restaurants. It's a search, right? It's a Google search. Like I said, it delivers food. It helps you, first of all, discover restaurants and food items in the restaurants that you can get delivered. When I say discover, it's kind of like a search. You basically are looking for something, so you're searching for something. It's kind of like Google search, but for food, where you order that food, right? So whenever a search comes up, right, now you have search results. I mean, popularly, the only way we see search results is in a list. Something comes on the top, something comes in the bottom. So Swiggy actually can dictate as a platform. There's no legality or whatever, what is right or what is wrong, what is morally right and all that. Because as a business, it's fine if they actually get some extra money from some restaurant and put that restaurant's result on the top. This is similar to Google, getting sponsored ads, sponsorships, where the Google ad shows up on the top for a given search, right? You pay for that Google ad and whatnot. But in Swiggy, I don't know if they show it's sponsored or not, but then it can just come on the top. Swiggy can just take money. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying that they can do this. As a platform, they can basically dictate which restaurants show on the top, which restaurants show on the bottom, right? Though I think there are, of course, ways to sort your search results based on rating, distance, and whatnot. But then, apart from that sorting, are there any other fields? I think the other hidden fields might just be how much money that restaurant paid you. If the ratings or the number of ratings, or if the rating is equal, say 4.7 for out of 5 for both the restaurants, and both are close, let's say both are some 1 mile away, right? Then which one do you put on the top? Now maybe it's random, or maybe Swiggy can just basically say, hey, if you want to be on the top, just give me money. Or even do something, you can't say it's exactly shady because it's not illegal. They can just do anything. They have a platform, they have a website, they can do anything. A restaurant can pay Swiggy and say, show that I have these many reviews and this is my rating. The only problem this will cause is for the customers who are actually going to believe that data, which is on the Swiggy platform, right? As long as customers believe and are not, disproved on this data, I mean, how will anyone even know this review platform? I mean, the review, if it's a good review, it's good for the restaurant. If it's a bad review, it's bad for the restaurant. Swiggy is just the mediator, the platform. The thing is, if let's say Swiggy helps the restaurant with some review levels, for example, just don't show bad reviews, don't show bad written reviews, or don't show that there are bad reviews at all initially, and whatnot, it can help the restaurant, and then the restaurant can pay more to the Swiggy platform. And at some point, maybe the customers never get to know. For example, if there is a separate set of people who are socializing, if they get to know that, let's say I am there, I'm trying to buy a pizza, and there are other people who are trying to buy pizza. They order it, they buy it from Swiggy, but then they realize that it's not great. But then they'll put one bad review, that's all. The others will also put bad reviews. Next time, they'll just not buy from there. Let's say these bad reviews don't go to the platform or are not seen by other users, right? What's the problem? The problem is more and more people will just buy it. They'll probably be one-time users, it's fine, because they won't probably come back. For sure, most probably they won't. For example, a lot of my friends, they'll not come back for sure. Once they have a bad experience, they'll not give a chance and all next time. So the restaurant or the place will have just a lot of one-time customers and a lot of bad reviews, but nothing will be seen on the platform because let's say Swiggy gets some money, or as a platform, it doesn't have to be just Swiggy, it can be any platform where they get money and do all these stuff. It can be true for even Amazon where sellers get reviews, or any other platform where the seller gets to pay the platform to actually uh, tell lies about the reviews by the buyers, right? So, and the buyers won't even know because they don't have a separate platform or they are not talking to each other. It's like every person on the platform is just themselves. They'll probably have other friends who are using the platform, but then not enough people to get enough data around what is the truth, right? So, I mean, as a platform now, Swiggy or any other platform can now dictate what search results come on the top, what data they show about the reviews, about the written reviews and whatnot. So this is kind of like a trust issue. I mean, but then yeah, I mean, you just assume that Swiggy is doing the right thing, wherein they're not lying. But even if they do lie to some extent, it won't cause them harm a lot, not a lot, and the restaurant is just going to pay probably for the lying, and it will probably hurt the restaurant, not Swiggy, not much. So, and the other thing is now with Swiggy's Instamart as a platform, now you actually, I mentioned about how you can search dishes and don't have to look at the brand sometimes. With Instamart, now you have Swiggy is providing groceries. Instamart, I think, is a separate app now, but it's of course part of Swiggy. And then there is Zepto, and I think Zepto is also by Swiggy. And then there is Blinkit. I think Blinkit got acquired by Zomato, and Zepto, I guess, got acquired by Swiggy. I'm not sure, but all these apps, a lot of times you're just looking for, let's say, you're looking for a bag, or you're looking for some almonds, right? You just type you want almonds, or let's say you want tomatoes. You just type you want tomatoes and or onions to cook, right? Or potatoes. It, there is no brand per se in India for fruits or vegetables. Most fruits and most vegetables don't have a brand per se. You just get it from the market. You just get it from the shop. They probably got it from some fruit seller, fruit distributor, vegetable seller, vegetable distributor, from some farm. You don't know what is the brand usually. Some fruits, like fancy fruits, let's say some fancy apples, fancy kiwi, has a sticker on it where it says the brand. But usually a lot of people are not looking at the brand for some things, right? I just want tomatoes, it's fine whatever brand, or I just want kiwi, it's fine whatever brand you give me. So now platforms like Zepto, Swiggy, um, Blinkit or anything can now decide what vendor can I actually go to get this thing for them, where the brand doesn't matter. In a lot of cases, these platforms themselves can create those items also. For example, one example is More. More is a supermarket in India. More sells all kinds of groceries, all kinds of household items. It's like a proper, it's a bazaar, it's like a proper market, hypermarket, supermarket, where you can get anything and everything, almost anything and everything. And they are now, I mean, I don't know when they started, but apart from selling other stuff, they sell their own stuff. For example, if they're selling, say, peanuts, they'll probably be selling peanuts in packets, and they'll probably sell peanuts in loose, where you can get how much amount you want, and in packets they'll have the brand of peanuts, different brands of peanuts. They don't just distribute their own brand, but they distribute other brands. And I believe they started distributing other brands only first, and then later I believe they found out what is a fast moving uh, product or item, and then can I make it myself, and then more started making its own items, food items, grocery items. For example, it can, I believe they make peanuts or almonds and all that, right? Dry fruits. Now there is a new brand called More, right? Where More is selling stuff at a price probably lesser than the other distributors, or mostly at a good price, where they believe that the customer will buy it, and they are ready to actually uh, make the product, manufacture it, or get it manufactured, like, or more like grown, and so that, say, they might tie up with some other, say, almond company which is providing almonds, and some distributor, and be like, now let's just get together and put the name as More hypermarket or supermarket, so my own thing. And now you can also decide if you want to show this in your platform, in your website and whatnot, or in your brick and mortar shop, in the front, on the front, and say there is discounts and whatnot on this thing, and it's cheaper than the other distributors. And if you trust the brand, or if you trust that it'll be good enough, and if you think that I just want something nice and simple and cheap, I don't want to look at too many brands, I'll just take this, that's all, right? So it's just a matter of discovery. Once a lot of people use the platform can now decide who the customer discovers. So this is true in Google search, this is true in Swiggy, Zomato, or in a brick and mortar shop. This is also true, let's say, when it comes to, say, even Amazon. Amazon has its own brand now, right? Multiple brands, Amazon Basics and whatnot, where they sell electronic items that they own, that they create, or it could be manufactured by someone else, but they have their own label on it. So they sell it, right? So it's like, who manufactures versus who sells or markets it, it's all different, right? So sold by is different, marketed by it could be different, and then manufactured by could be different. For example, one of my friends used to tell me that all the televisions, there are a lot of televisions that are the same and are manufactured the same way by the same entity and all, but then they are tagged with different brand names by different brands and then sold. So it's not much different, a lot of televisions, right? So yeah, I mean, you can just put your own I think there's even a term for this, white labeling, where you manufacture it from someone else, somewhere else and whatnot, and you get it. If it's a different country, you basically import it and then put your label on it. So these companies are basically just, which are manufacturing, are basically just interested in manufacturing, are not interested in marketing, selling, distributing, and thinking about how to distribute and whatnot. So companies can basically get this, market this, and then distribute this. And basically they're called white label companies or white label products, I think. So yeah, I mean, Swiggy, Zomato, now these platforms and Big Basket and whatnot, these platforms can now decide which brand, which company, which product, which exact product shows up on the top when they do a discovery, when they do a search. For example, now you can actually get even electronic items on Big Basket. It's kind of like Amazon now, right? So previously they used to have only groceries like fruits, vegetables, say household items and whatnot, which are not electronics, which are not something that you would buy on a grocery shopping app. Now everyone is doing everything, right? So Big Basket, Swiggy, for example, there's this company called Decathlon. Decathlon is a sports apparel platform, and instead of using their website, mobile app, and all that, now you can use Swiggy. I believe Swiggy or Zepto. I don't remember which one. Zepto probably, or probably any such platform that provides anything for you, similar to Amazon. I believe you can get Decathlon items on Amazon. Though Decathlon has its own platform, now it's like a distribution channel. Am I using the official channel of the brand? For example, say it's Decathlon. Am I using the Decathlon mobile app, the official mobile app? Am I using the Decathlon official website? Or am I using the Amazon Decathlon store, where I trust that it's coming from them only and not from some other seller and all that, some other vendor? Or I trust the vendor to provide the right item, the correct item, the authentic original item, and not some duplicate and whatnot or fake thing. Well, now Swiggy's Instamart, Zepto, Blinkit, Big Basket, and all the others can now show Decathlon. Say, let's say I'm trying to buy shoes, they can show Decathlon on the list of shoes. I recently remember looking at an ad which says Decathlon is on Zepto, right? So now it's like you go to a platform, any platform, it's become a distribution channel. How I sell stuff. Do I sell it from the brand's official store, right? Exclusive store, or the brand's franchise store? Or is it online? Online where? Which platform? All of this matters, right? So brick and mortar stores, there can be many where you can buy the same product. It can be from the main brand exclusive store, or the franchise store of that brand, or it can be the online, but it can be Amazon, or it can be all these other platforms that are coming up, where they're providing groceries along with other kinds of items, electronics and whatnot, or anything. Basically, they're trying to do order anything. Basically, that's what Amazon is also trying to do. A to Z, you can order anything. And Amazon now has groceries. The others started with food or something, or food, and then they started doing parcel deliveries, and then they started doing groceries, and now they're doing electronics, right? So now everyone has tried to go around and do everything. Like if I'm ordering electronics, I usually go on Amazon, right? But then now someone can actually do that on even Swiggy, Instamart, Zomato, like even Zomato's Blinkit probably. I can get toys on Blinkit. I can get, I don't know, air coolers on Big Basket apparently, or air fryers on Big Basket and all. So, and now in each of these platforms, they can decide who shows up on the top, who shows up on the bottom, especially when I'm looking for a product or even a brand, right? They can show some sponsored brands on the top. In Amazon, usually they show sponsored as a tag. I don't think the platform is required to do that. I don't know. So these platforms need not say it's sponsored or whatever, and they can decide who shows up on the front. And the thing is, let's say I buy Decathlon items, and not just me, I and all the other customers of Decathlon buy Decathlon items mainly from, say, Swiggy, Instamart, compared to, say, the actual official physical store, or the official mobile app, or the official website, and use some third party other mobile app or website. Then Decathlon is now in a position to actually listen to what that third party vendor says, because that third party vendor now has control over who can see Decathlon products on their platform, and how do they see it, how can they see it. And now the Decathlon or any such company is now at the mercy of a third party vendor platform, where they have to now be like, you have so many users, you have marketed yourself very well, you are doing delivery, so The whole thing is when you can order anything, the whole idea of you can order anything, there is two parts. One is the product, which is say a food item or a fresh food item, whatever, or some machinery, electronic, and all that. And then there's delivery. Amazon was doing delivery and it was selling electronics and whatnot. Swiggy was doing already delivery, but for food items. It's just these two, and then there's payment, of course, and then the searching of what you want. You can order anything, search for anything, order what you want, that's all, and then you get it delivered, right? I think in Amazon you can even pick it up from some place. So the thing is, in the case of see these platforms now, they have mastered everything. They have mastered first of all marketing themselves. They have mastered getting enough users on their platform who got so used to actually getting things from their app or website. I think now the idea is probably like one-stop shop for everything. I don't want to go to Amazon and order something and then go to Swiggy and order something. Most probably people are lazy. A lot of people are lazy. Even I am lazy in a lot of things. So maybe someone might just think, why do I have to go in so many different apps and then order something? Why don't I just order everything in one go? Right? The only thing that these platforms, e-commerce platforms are not doing is providing services. They're providing goods. They're not providing services. There's this company called Urban Company where they provide services. For example, salon, spa, head like massages, or servicing your air conditioner, or cleaning up your house, your washrooms and whatnot. I'm guessing the next thing that these e-commerce platforms might just do is provide all these services also. You can order anything, do anything. It's like a super app. This idea of super app is there in Indonesia and probably many other countries and places. So super app concept, there's this company called Gojek in Indonesia, and then there's this company called Grab. It's there in Indonesia. It's more popular, I think, in Singapore. So it started off in Singapore first, I think, Grab. So these companies are trying to do all-in-one mobile app, all-in-one platform, where you can transport yourself from one place to another, send parcels, and order food. It's a bank where you can actually put in money. It's a wallet. They have a wallet. You can get services like say a haircut, a head massage, and whatnot. I think slowly these platforms in India will probably try to look for going into the space of all-in-one thing, platform for everything. Probably. For example, if I'm going to order a razor to actually shave my beard, I mean, one thing is to actually own the item. There is also this idea of renting items, right? There are platforms like Rent Mojo. I think Zepto, Swiggy, and all that might start doing renting for even smallest of products, maybe. And so renting shoes, it's a very popular thing. I think there are platforms already that I've noticed for renting shoes for say trekking, and similar stuff where you don't trek every day, right? Usually, but you do want some good shoes, great shoes to trek. Sometimes it can be pretty expensive, where you don't even know if you're going to actually trek a lot, and it's really important to wear some good enough shoe to trek and do many things. You need good enough gear, or else you're going to hurt yourself. So maybe Swiggy, Instamart, Zepto might just start doing renting as a service instead of just owning it. Or I want a razor, I want to trim my beard, shave. So shave my beard, then Swiggy or Zomato, or any such platforms can just be like, okay, instead of owning this razor, do you want to just actually order a service, book a service with a salon, or they will come to your house or come to wherever you are and do the beard trimming or whatever you want to get it done, because a razor can be used to even shave your head and whatnot, right? So it can just say, Do you want to get a service instead of owning this item? So those kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, all-in-one platform idea from super apps in, you know, in Indonesia, say Gojek, they have this thing called GoPay and all for payments and stuff, similar to Paytm in India. So, and then delivery they do, and then they have people who have products, and then sometimes they bring their own products. For example, More does it. Probably Swiggy, Instamart might just do it. For example, there's this company called MedPlus, which is a medicine delivery company. Like they deliver medicines, they provide medicines. It's a platform for medicines for health. You can actually say get scans done. You can get some blood tests done. You can actually find doctors on it. Probably um, these other platforms might just start doing that also. For example, Swiggy now has a way to actually order medicines. There's some extra things to do. Is it's not just like saying which medicine you want and then get it delivered, because the other thing is you need to check for prescription and all sometimes, some medicines. So you need to also have some knowledge of it, right? So I think now there's this platform called Farm Easy. I don't know exactly much about it, but similar to MedPlus, MedPlus is popular in India, and there are many more popular ones like Tata 1mg by Tata. So now Farm Easy is on Swiggy. So it's like a whole company distributes themselves using the distribution channel of Swiggy Instamart. So Swiggy now says, I'm going to get you medicines. Most people will be like, I don't care where you get it from. And Swiggy is going to just get it from Farm Easy or any other such company that comes with Swiggy and puts a note, signs a deal or an agreement with Swiggy, signs a contract. Then they'll all just be, selling medicines on Swiggy, right? And Swiggy can just be the distribution channel, the front face, the the main front, the shop front, where they're selling anything and everything, right? What else do people buy or pay for? I mean, there is toys, there is electrical items, electronic items, stuff like household items, bottles and whatnot. Um, and basically you can order anything and everything these days on Amazon and all these other platforms. I guess all these e-commerce and other platforms could also start doing services where service also includes health services, like say doing scans and whatnot, right? So one-stop shop for everything. Like they will be like, I just do everything on this. The only interesting thing is, how do these companies, all these platforms, fight with each other? They could fight with money pricing. So usually these platforms, it's hard for someone to know the exact customized price for like each and every person. The platforms can provide any different price for every different person. Like I've done a video on this where there are probably millions of users. I can't go and ask every user in the millions of users to understand, are they seeing the same price after they log in into their account, right? Swiggy could be selling the same thing at a different price for every other person. It can be a tomato, it can be onions, it can be potatoes, it can be anything, right? So, and it can be from any brand, and maybe the brand is providing the discount, or maybe just Swiggy is providing the discount as a platform, burning some money to get some customers and whatnot. Or there is some bank or credit card company or whatever that is trying to actually provide offers and get their users, get users of the platform to buy their credit card, debit card and whatnot, and use their credit card and whatnot. And basically on getting credit cards, if people falter to pay their bills, the bank benefits. So of course, those kind of pricing stuff can come in. And Swiggy can also provide different kinds of pricing. Like if I go to a grocery shop and there is no price tag on some item, It's easy for the grocery shop owner to just tell any price, and if it's believable, I'll just pay it, right? And it is true that for groceries, for example, vegetables and fruits, the cost changes a lot depending on where you are, how much cost did it um, incur to actually yield that fruit, vegetable, depending on the season. It was easier, it was harder, and then the transportation to get that fruit or vegetable from the place where it was, grown to the place where it is being sold, and all the in between charges. Since there are a lot of like middlemen, middle brokers and whatnot, services and platforms of people, vendors and all. So I mean, the only interesting thing is in a grocery shop, if there are 10 people who are entering the grocery shop, um, if the 10 people notice that the grocery shop owner is telling a different price for each person, then they might just notice, assuming there is no price tag. If there is a price tag on the brick and mortar shop, they'll have to keep changing that price tag immediately to show that there's a different price. Maybe they can show a like digital display where the price keeps changing, or they can just write it down and stick it on a paper, on a say on a note, uh, and you know what's it called, I think, on a note basically, and they'll have to remove it and keep putting a different note, different paper every time. And if the customers notice that this is changing the price every few minutes or whatever, they'll be like, what is going on a platform? It's very very easy. When it comes to digital world, and where every user is isolated from the every other user, on your mobile app, on your website and whatnot, uh, so then say on your watch, on your TV and whatnot, you never know, right? On any device, digital device, you never know, where the users are just isolated from each other, and you can just show any price. So based on the pricing, these companies can compete. The interesting thing is the idea between this all-in-one shop or all-in-one place versus this pricing. What if different places have different pricing? For example, recently I was trying to order medicines, more like parcel medicines from one place to another place, like transport it. Like I didn't want to go to that place just to get the medicines and then come back to my house. I instead like got a service where they just transport from there to here, and the cost is just one-time cost, one-way cost. It's not like two-way where I go to the place and then come back myself. And I don't own a vehicle, so I'm just gonna book a Uber or whatever transportation service, and then I'm gonna get the same some other transportation service again to come back. I would rather pay the same thing one time alone and ask someone else to get it for me. It's a service basically. So there are so many so many platforms that do that, like Dunzo, Swiggy also does it, Uber also does it. Uber has parcels, Swiggy has Swiggy Genie, right? So here I noticed that one of the apps was showing me way lesser cost for transporting that medicine from there to here. Probably in transportation there are many, variables for the pricing. For example, the number of drivers available around that place for that platform, and who are willing to actually take up that request, or else accordingly the demand will change. Right. Interestingly, I think the cost of transporting a parcel from one place to another place doesn't change after the transportation is done. Because it's possible that, say, there was an issue while transporting, it took more time because of the traffic, some issue happened, and so something caused more time, some external issues and whatnot. For example, when I'm going from one place to another place, some incident happens and then the traffic gets blocked, and then we take a longer route and whatnot. The time taken is more, the distance traveled is more and whatnot. And then the amount of frustration that the driver goes through, it's not just about like putting in the work, right? Because at some point maybe drivers will be replaced by computers and AI and whatnot to actually transport the person without any other driver, self-driving and whatnot. For now, we still have a person who's putting in their time, spending their time to actually, drive you or drive the parcel from one place to another place. In this case, I was paying a lot. I was like, wait, why am I paying so much? And usually these parcel deliveries are done using a two-wheeler, which is usually cheap. Either because they are using, two-wheelers are basically running on petrol or diesel maybe. And these days, electric vehicles are more cheaper. But then, regardless, these platforms will actually cost you enough to assuming that it's a petrol vehicle, though the driver can use a electric vehicle and earn more and profit more. But the interesting thing is this: I was like, does it cost so much to deliver a parcel from one place to another place? Because if I was there at that place, the from and the destination, the pickup and the destination from there to here, and I was getting it, the cost of using a three-wheeler or four-wheeler would cost the same. Maybe the cost of two-wheeler was considered, but then they are having more cost for the what do you say, the human labor, the labor or something else, or the traffic was crazy, so it will take more time, or the demand was really high, so there are not enough people, or else the supply is pretty low. All of that, right? So I was like, I won't go for this platform because it's not cheap. It's a bit more costlier, and I can't afford it. The problem is, then I'll have to go to another. I notice it in another app that it's cheaper. Now, the thing is, when you go for cheaper, when consumers go for cheaper and cheaper services and products, the only problem is it's possible to sell it cheap and at the same level of quality. It's possible only at economy of scale, when the seller is selling the goods or the services at a high scale. And when this happens, big companies will benefit, but the smaller companies or the smaller vendors and whatnot will struggle. And the other thing is, when this pricing issue happens, let's say I'll go for cheaper, I wonder what will happen when there are so many platforms and so many things to buy. Let's say I want to buy, and this shop shop everything in one place. It won't make sense when it's cheaper to buy the different items on different platforms. First of all, you should know what are the different platforms. So the discovery of platforms is also a thing. And the next thing is, you should know the price of the items that you're going to buy from all the platforms. So probably there'll be a platform of platforms only if the other platforms allow reading the price for this particular user, assuming there is dynamic pricing, depending on the location, depending on just anything, right? Spending history, spending fashion, right? Spending history and all that. So the way they spend, the spending rate and whatnot. So spending style also, and what they spend on and whatnot. So everything, right? So the other platforms have to allow reading the data, like logically, digitally speaking, they should tell that this is the price for this user, and this platform of platforms will, and there'll probably not just be one platform of platforms, probably multiple. I wonder how they will actually differentiate between each other and all that. But that is one thing. And if there is no platform of platforms, then the users have to go to each and every platform. They should know them, and they should go to each and every platform to understand the cost of the goods and services that they're trying to get, and find out the goods and services in the particular platform where they get it for the cheapest cost, right? So it's a struggle. It's too much work. So anyone who is lazy will probably end up spending more, depending on the platform they chose to get everything or most things from, and then choose another platform to just get most things from. So because let's say I want to buy 10 items and I want to buy it now, it's like how people are like, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. So delivery is like kind of the problem they're trying to solve. And all these platforms are like, we deliver in 10 minutes, we deliver now, we deliver in 20 minutes, we deliver in 12 minutes, weird numbers. And they are in a hurry, and they are lazy to put in the work to understand what is the cost on each platform, because it's really hard, too much time consuming, time taking. So they just go ahead and like use a trusted platform and pay whatever comes up. They probably won't even think that the cost is probably lesser on some other platform, probably because it's some other brand or the same brand, same thing, but then lesser cost. Same thing for service and whatnot. But then, yeah, of course, in service, there's also service quality. And of course, same thing for product quality. I mean, like, maybe it's the same product, but then for some reason the quality was lesser. Maybe old product or whatever, right? And I say same product, just at the high level. But of course, if it's exactly the same product and lesser cost, why wouldn't someone buy it if they trust the source, of course, if they trust the platform. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, interesting stuff about how these platforms can control and decide on who they show on their platform, what they show on their platform, what they show first, where they show, who they market as a popular thing, who do they support and who do they not support and whatnot. And they can start providing their own goods and services apart from distributing goods and services of others, right? And yeah, I mean, apart from goods and services, in services, it's not just like household services or personal services like say salons, spas, and whatnot. There are also services like say entertainment services. There are comedy shows, there are movies and whatnot. There are events, concerts, and I think recently Zomato got into this business, and there are other platforms like Zomato in India got into this business, I think. And then there are other platforms also, like there was Insiders, I think that was by Paytm, and there's Book My Show. These platforms provide entertainment related stuff. And in a way, if you think about it, food is also entertainment in the modern era, in the modern day. It's kind of in the same, a lot of food items come under the entertainment category in my view. So yeah, a lot of people eat food to just feel good. So yeah, I'll probably talk about that separately in a different video, about how we spend money, for the experience, feelings, emotions, for something that we are a fan of, for something that we are devoted to, believe in and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, that's all I had for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.